That's what this passage says. He put you together. He built you. Goes on to say this is when I look at close. I praise you because I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Your works are wonderful. I know that full well. David says, I praise you because I'm fearfully and wonderfully made. David knew one thing. He knew that he was who God says he was. And he knew that he was beautiful. That might sound arrogant, right? When you hear someone say, like, I know I'm fearfully, I'm wonderfully made. Sounds like, like LeBron James. I'm just wonderfully made, man. I'm fearfully and wonderfully made. God made me, and look at me. I'm taller than you. I'm faster than you. I'm dunking on you. I win championships. I'm wonderful. You kind of go, he's cocky, but he's right. This is David. He's a little cocky, but he's right. He knows. He knows what God has made him. He's made him wonderful. Here's what some of these words mean. I'm fearfully means awesomely. It means it with awe. It's like the 4th of July. When the finale comes, you go, whoa. Your chest shakes. We had a house for a while that was right under our town's fireworks by the park. And every time the fireworks would go off, our dog Stanley would pee all over the ground. Because he was like, oh, that's awesome. It just takes you back, right? It takes your breath away. Everybody say, God says I'm beautiful. He says you're awesome. He says you're wonderful. He says you are awesomely made. Man, I'm sorry, it is time for students to have a little bit of a chip on their shoulder about not who their friends say they are, not who social media says they are, not who the school says you are, not if you won the prom king, queen, no. Not what your parents, but who God says I am. Man, have you ever met someone who really has confidence in who God says they are? That's a special person. I'm awesome because God made me. He did it. Look what David starts out with. I praise you because you made me awesome. You need to know this, and this might feel like kind of a throwback 2001 self-esteem message. But listen, you guys are all awesome. Every person in here, I have to tell you, I remember being in high school, and I remember thinking I'm awesome, but they're not. Right? Come on. Everybody's in here. Everybody in here has been in that spot. We're cooler than them. We're better than them. We do this. Do you understand? As I get older, I look back. I look at every single one of you. I don't care what you do. I don't care what your grades are. I don't care where you came from. I don't care what you look like. I already, because I believe this, think you are awesome. Think you are incredible. Whoa! Fireworks with every one of you. I'm serious, because then you just get to know. When I get to know someone like you guys, I get to know. I already go in having a conversation going, this student right here is awesome. This is an awesome person. And if I just ask the question, where are you from? I'm just going to learn about the awesomeness. It's time to start to see yourself the way God sees you. God says you're beautiful. He says you're awesomely made, and then wonderfully means skillfully. It means he didn't mess up. You know that? Maybe some of you might even have some health problems. Maybe you have some mental problems. Maybe some of you struggle to learn. Maybe some of you have ADD. Maybe some of you might have some issues. God didn't mess up on you. God knows what he's doing in his grand scheme of things. If you have some problems, God knows how to say, oh, no. I included those problems in the awesomeness of you. I don't mess up. Now, sin came in and messed up his ultimate design, but you understand there's this belief and this truth in the scriptures that God can make beauty from ashes, that he can take whatever you think is not right about you and make it right. He didn't mess up with you. He's good at what he does. God is skillful. Think about this. How many times you make something and you mess it up the first time? right? Like, if you ever worked on a car, guys, you're like, man, the first time I changed a tire, it took me forever. You know there's tanks in the back of a toilet, right? There's things that lift up and the water goes in and out. You have to learn how to do that. Okay, the first time our toilet was leaking, I went to the Home Depot and just had a real nice time there at Home Depot. Just did a lot of shopping. It was a really good time. And I found the tank, and I went in, and I took this thing in, and it took me 2 hours. And I was sweating, and I was probably cussing. I mean, like a little bit, saying stuff I shouldn't say. I was throwing some stuff. You know, like Katie was like, "Why do you do this? Just hire someone." And like, it was bad. And then the next couple times I did it, it took me 10 minutes. It was like, it took me 2 hours to learn it. Like, oh, this is so easy. You just have to sit like this instead of sit like this when you're on the ground. That's what happened. And then I got skilled at changing the inside of a toilet. Better than you at it. Skillfully. God, listen, God, He got you right the first time. Perfect. Very good. Everybody say, I am who God says I am. Say, I am who I am says I am. No, see, I just don't think I'm driving the point home clear enough, so we're going to look at some things. I just spent some time on the World Wide Web. I don't know if you guys know about it, but it is out there, okay? It is really, it's like right in here right now. Even without your phones, it's right in here. There it is. I guess you'll get me later. I have a weird sense of humor. Okay, just work with me, all right? I just found 14 things, just only 14 things about how wonderful you are. Skillfully, awesomely, fearfully, and wonderfully made. God says you're beautiful. Look at this. The focusing muscles of the eyes move around 100,000 times a day. Now, for some of the guys in here with the girls, they're moving around a lot more than that. You need to stop. To give your leg muscles the same workout, you would need to walk 50 miles every day. Isn't that amazing? Fearfully, wonderfully. God says you're beautiful. The largest organ in the body is the skin. An adult man, it covers about 20 square feet. The skin constantly flakes away. In a lifetime, each person sheds around 40 pounds of skin. That is so gross. But how many of you guys, you just put on like oil of Olay every day and take care of your skin? It's just this perfect design that God made. And like if like we could like pile all of you up somewhere, you would need like a closet. It's so gross. But it's skillful. He knew what he was doing. This is so cool. Human bone is as strong as granite. How many have granite countertops at your house? Yeah? Strong as granite in supporting weight. A block of bone the size of a matchbox, like this, can support 9 tons. That is 4 times as much as concrete can support. What? You are fearfully and wonderfully made. Everybody say, God says I'm beautiful. God says I'm beautiful. In 30 minutes, this is funny, the average body gives off enough heat combined to bring a half a gallon of water to boil. When you guys get in here at night and you start dancing around, just think about it. You guys can save so much money. You just boil a little water for breakfast the next day. That's bizarre. This is cool. I saw a video of this. A single human blood cell takes only 60 seconds to make a complete circuit of the body. So what that means is there's like the inferior and superior vena cava. I went to college, okay? And basically your blood, like one of the circuits, it pumps, goes from here all the way down through your body into the bottom of your foot, and it comes all the way back, and that only takes 60 seconds. One circuit takes 60 seconds. Fearfully and wonderfully made, skillfully and awesomely made. There's enough DNA in an average person's body to stretch from the sun to Pluto and back 17 times. Get out of here. Joel, just stop it. This is ridiculous. This is who you are. God says you're beautiful. God says you're wonderful. God says you're awesome. God says he made you the right way. You don't get to determine your identity. You have to discover it. We're discovering it. Your stomach manufactures a new lining every 3 days to avoid digesting itself. Is that crazy? That is just crazy talk. So, like, think about this. Like, you had a different stomach before you came to camp. Now you have a new one. And before you leave, you'll have 2 more. This is crazy. This is so cool. Watch this. There are more than 600 individual skeletal muscles and 206 bones in your body. If all 600 plus muscles contracted and pulled in the same direction, you could lift over 20 tons, that's 40,000 pounds, of resistance. Additionally, this is crazy, the adult skeleton is composed of 206 bones. But at birth, an infant skeleton contains approximately 350 bones. Over time, some of the 350 bones fuse together and eventually grow to the 206 adult figure. Wow! That's crazy! That means when you're born, you got like all these different bones, and then over time, they become one. Here's the thing about all this stuff. This applies to everyone in the room. Everybody say, God says I'm beautiful. The human body produces enough saliva in a lifetime to fill 2 swimming pools. That's powerful. I didn't know when God was like making you, he's like, oh yeah, this is going to be a weird one. High school kids will dig this. Cannonball. All right. How about this? The nose can recognize and remember 50,000 different scents. That's crazy. It's interesting, especially with this one. The average person expels flatulence 14 times each day. Don't listen, guys. Like, I'm sorry. Like, listen. God says I'm beautiful. Okay, girls fart like a lot, like just as much as guys. Like it's just. I know it's gross. Like you don't want to know it, but like it's the same. They just like they act like it doesn't exist. We don't need a toilet. We don't need one. We don't poop ever. Like, we had lunch together and like we had dessert together and like you were wait a minute, you went somewhere for 20 minutes. I was just tweeting. The average person, this is interesting too when you start to add all this up. Everyone has a unique smell except for identical twins. In other words, twins fart smell the same. I don't think that's what that means. Is that crazy though that every person has a unique smell? Listen, I'll tell you what, like, I can't tell you that like how far is too far, okay, we're not gonna go there right now. But like, if you don't struggle with wanting to like put your face by her face and vice versa, probably don't marry that person. So when you get to that point where you're kind of struggling a little bit physically, just take a couple more sniffs, because you're gonna live with that. Because that's their smell. That's their brand. All right? Check this out. Every tongue print is unique. This applies to everybody. Isn't it amazing the things that make us all the same and the things that God did to make us unique? Everybody say, God says I'm beautiful. A fetus acquires fingerprints at the age of 3 months. Listen, you guys, you are beautiful. You are made by God. You don't discover who you are by what is out there. You listen to what God says, and He determines who you are. God says that you are beautiful. Listen, a lot of us, we go through life, and things happen to us. And we have this belief about what's happening around us, what's happening through us, and that it determines who we are. And so for some of us, like where we're from, it determines like who we are. And if we let where we're from determine who we are, then that means that over time you start to lose yourself. You start to lose who God made you. You know, for some of you, it's like your talents. It's like your talents decide who you are. And as soon as your talents decide who you are, if you're not talented, then suddenly you start to lose yourself. You go, man, I thought something that I could do made me valuable. But then you realize that, man, not everybody else thinks this is important, so therefore it must not be important. I must not be valuable. I must not be wonderful. I must not be beautiful. Some of us literally spend our lives believing that where we're from determines who we are. And where we came from. Like the size of the house that you grew up in, like what neighborhood you grew up in. And you meet some friends, and those friends have a bigger house, and they live in a nicer part of town, and as soon as you look at them, you go, oh man, if that's value, then I must not be, and you start to lose yourself. Some of us look at our lives and we go, you know what, Joel, I hear you, and as far as how I'm made, I can buy it. But what happens is then you make a mistake. You do something you shouldn't do. And then you go, man, I did that thing, so that must determine my value. Since I made that decision, I must not be important. Since I tripped up, or I made a mistake, or I committed that sin, now that's who I am. And you might go through your entire life going man, I'm just a product of my lack of talent, of where I didn't come from, and the mistakes I made. Some of us live our lives, and we believe that where we're going determines who we are. Some of you are in here right now, and you think man, where am I going to go to college? Because if I just say the community college, I'm not valuable. I'm not important. I don't matter. Because I need to go to NYU, or I need to go to Ohio State, or I need to go to Ohio State. You just believe that if you don't go somewhere that has a big name, then that means your name doesn't matter. Some people have a family that they grew up in, and then it's because their family's a mess, they're I'm a mess, I'm not important. You guys, you can spend your whole life trying to figure out your value by the things that are around you. But what you have to get to is this point where you believe no, I'm in here. There's a me that's not determined by all this exterior. There's a me that God says I am. There's a me that is created by God, that is fearfully and wonderfully made, and it's truly me. And all this other stuff is not really me. And God says I'm beautiful, and I am who God says I am. And it doesn't matter where I came from. It doesn't matter where I'm going. It doesn't matter what I've done. It doesn't matter what I didn't do. It doesn't matter how talented I am. It doesn't matter what I look like. It doesn't matter if I'm short or tall or skinny. It doesn't matter any of that, because my identity is something that God handed to me. And He calls me beautiful. And so all this other stuff can just go away, because I am who God says I am. This is you. Discover who I am. God says I'm beautiful, so I must be beautiful. And I have one more thing. Some of you are here today, and you believe this. And this is one of those things that could have tried to mark over who you really are. You believe, because of maybe the church you came from, or the family you grew up in, or the friends that you have, that if you don't accept Jesus Christ as your personal Savior, that you're not valuable, that you're not beautiful. Do you know that is the opposite of the gospel? You know the scriptures say that we love God because He first loved us. Do you know the scriptures say that while we were sinners, Christ died for us? That means that the beginning of the story of every person is what we're talking about today. You are beautiful. God has made you. He has made you skillfully. He has made you wonderfully. He has put you together. And He calls you what you are. And you have got to take your cue from Him instead of everybody else. And I just want this phrase to sink in for some of you guys. I have one more slide. It just went off for some reason. If you can take me back to the Paradise City, where the grass is green and the girls are pretty. I don't know why it's not working. Oh, won't you please take me home? You got to see this. Work it. Work it. Last slide, right down the bottom right. Oh, no, no, not that one. This is going to be great for the tape. You were made perfect by God, whether you know Him or not. If you're in here today and you just haven't taken that step to give your heart to Christ, to say, God, I love you, I want to have a relationship with you. We're going to talk about that tomorrow. But I want you to feel this. I want you to feel love without ever having to do anything, without ever having to understand much about God. And just have God come to you today and say, you are beautiful. I made you. I call you beautiful. I am the great I am. And you are fantastic. I made you. You actually look like me. Whether you call me Father, whether you become one of my children or not, you look like me because I made you in my image. Everybody say, God says I'm beautiful. Let's pray. Father, thank you so much for these students. I pray that as they think about this reality, that they would no longer allow the things that happen around them to determine who they are, but that their true identity could be first and foremost found in how they were made by an awesome and loving God. I pray this would change their lives from this day forward. In Jesus' name, amen. Thank you guys. We'll see you tomorrow.
So right now, don't forget, we're going to head out to quiet time, and then you're going to be back in here for Decoder. And do me a favor, just go out the back doors. Just go out the back doors so you don't slice your foot open. Thank you guys. You are dismissed.
turn on these lights.
Yeah. Yeah, I got it.
Turn on these lights here. Just turn on the lights and see.
I don't know if I gave you enough heads up or not. I don't think I got it in time. I like to do it. I'll try and be more heads up on that. I just wanted kind of that wide walkout. So.
If we can get his. Can he already leave?
Hey, Bryce. Did Joel already leave? Ultimately, we need to get all of his PowerPoint stuff. So I don't have to get it today, but I do want to be in that. Hey, can I task you? Can I task you with that? Yep, we've got it spiked, so we'll be on set. We'll be set.
Right.
Yeah.
This cable here doesn't have any gap. I'm gonna gap that down. This bench is gonna be open tonight.
Which one?
The power strip one. Right here. It's just this feet. It's just right there.
If you think it, does it go underneath though? Is it?
Like it goes right across here like this.
Oh yeah, go ahead and take that down. I would.